Hello, everyone. My name is Swamp.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, that's right, guys. That's for real. Creed is coming back. I guess it's their was 25 years or 30 years or something release anniversary of Human Clay or something. I don't know. It popped up on Twitter. And I'm stoked. If it's a tour, I'm going. You better go as well. We all secretly liked Creed. Well, I wasn't secret about it. I loved Creed, but everyone pretended not to. They were great. All right, guys. Happy Friday. Hope you had a good week. Ready for the weekend. Don't forget to support the channel with Super Chats, which will, of course, activate the Super Chat jukebox. And let's see, make sure, double check that I've got the Super Chat jukebox working right. It seems like every stream, the first time I try to use it, I mess it up. So let's see if it's working right. Let's go.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs friggin' frogs. It's not funny.
Perfect. I'd say that works absolutely perfectly. And of course, if you don't want to use YouTube, or if YouTube won't let you Super Chat, you can always hit up PayPal. And as long as I get the notification, which I usually do, I'll also activate the Super Chat jukebox. And of course, check out the merch. Year 2 pint glass is still available, as well as the Be Armed, Be Dangerous, Be Moral, still available. Get it while you can. All right. First up, apparently, Vox, and I think, isn't Vox the one that's going out of business, or is that Vice? I don't remember, but they're both just garbage. But Vox thought it was super important to write an article about homes and apartments being too clean in TV or something like this. I don't know, man. Vox, everyone's favorite news source, is here to let us know. TV and movie sets used to be messy. What happened? Well, I hope you enjoyed that for the second time. It seems like I got to do that at least twice a month. Anyway, so apparently this is what Vox is worried about. These are the hard-hitting stories that we need. All the news that's fit to print. Once upon a time, TV houses were cluttered. They weren't necessarily messy, but there was stuff in the homes of our TV friends. Oh, God. Jerry left cereal boxes out on the counter of Seinfeld. Monica let dishes dry on the rack next to her sink and Friends. Newspapers festooned the living room. I think it's the first time I've ever said that word. Living room floor of the Connor house in Roseanne. I can't believe they're actually talking about Roseanne. Thought Roseanne was out of the cool kids club nowadays. Lately, though, all those messes seem to have vanished from my TV screen. Ted Lasso always seems to have his throw pillows arranged just so. The Pritchett Dunphy Tucker clan. That's weird. The Pritchett Dunphy Tucker clan of Modern Family never seem to wash their dishes, but they don't seem to ever have dirty dishes either. Vox, what's going on here? Is this... There's just nothing else going on, I guess. Jeez. Nowadays, movie and TV home interiors look like they double as the set for a Lysol commercial, complained a Tumblr post in 2021. Of course, all bad things come from Tumblr, I'm pretty sure. Like, who lives here? Mr. Clean? Vox, I see why you quoted this person, because this is about the level of your writers. I definitely agree with that. The complaint felt to me initially true as soon as I saw it. I had a gut sense that I had emerged from an era of warmly messy TV sets and into a time when all TV sets at all times look as though a real estate agent has just breezed through to, oh my God, this writing, to get the home staged to sell at an open house. Is this? Okay, no, this is supposed to be an example of a messy kitchen. Are there people who really have these thoughts on a day-to-day basis? This is what they're thinking about. You guys notice how TV show sets aren't as dirty as they used to be? But I could also so easily think of exceptions to the idea of the trend. Oh, well, geez. The Euphoria kids, after all, live in the midst of a mess. Oh, my God. So it is or it isn't happening? I have no idea. I had not heard of this till you set all this up, said Nelson Coates, president of the Art Directors Guild. I think it just kind of depends on the type of show. Wait, so this article made an assertion and then already says, but it's not absolute, and actually it just depends on the characters. What is this, Vox? Good Lord. I was left with two questions to investigate. Has the mess level on sets actually changed over time? If it has, why has it? I was going to have to delve into the data to figure it out. And this is where it just goes completely off the rails. As if we weren't already going off the rails. Just prepare yourselves for this. Someone got paid for this. I picked the most popular shows from each decade that abided by certain rules. They had to be American, live action, set in the present day, and include at least one domestic space among the principal sets. Shows that span multiple decades are included in the decade where they were most part of the zeitgeist. The amount of work, and believe me, it gets worse. This judgment call admittedly gets a little fuzzy when it comes to shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, premiered in 2000 and still going, but oh my, the amount of thought. But here it is. This is what's really going to make you guys just lose it. Vox paid someone for this. Set mess levels across the decades. So here we go. They made a chart. From 1, pristine, stage to sell. 2, clean and tidy, but with a few bits of personal life visible. 3, very uncluttered, but some household maintenance tools are visible. 4, wilting flowers, pockets of clutter here and there. 5, multiple pockets of clutter, piles of paper, stuff on the countertops. 6, stuff is draped and piled across the set in heaps. There is visible dirt. 7, wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling mess. Journalism. As I moved through the decades, I found that overall sets tend to hover around the 3 to 4 range, fairly tidy, but a little bit of clutter here and there. I'm telling you, this goes much deeper than you would ever expect. There was actually legitimately a lot of work that went into this. So 1990s, Friends, X-Files, Married with Children. The amount of shows, it's just ridiculous. Look at this. This is just the 90s. So the mean in the 90s was 3.08. Can you believe that someone took the time to do this? But of course, there's more. Each decade has its outliers in either direction. In the 90s, Joffrey keeps the Banks mansion of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air staged to sell at all times. In the 2000s, Always Sunny guys have apartments littered with crumbs and mildewed towels. So now we're into the 2000s. It's Always Sunny is on there twice. Look how messy. Dude, the amount of work, and the charts, the graphs, the mean 409. So apparently things got a slightly... Wait, how does the chart work again? Okay, 7 is the dirtiest. So things got a little bit dirtier in the 2000s, man. Over the past decades, though, something changed. Where previous decades favored 3 and 4 levels of mess, and in the 2010s, we start to see an overabundance of 2s. The modern family houses have done away with household maintenance. The Underwoods of House of Cards have no time for power cords. The Suits lawyers live in pristine palaces. Good Lord, it just keeps going. So that what the 2010s mean 2.42. In most cases, there's a character reason for the lack of mess. This is all completely irrelevant. But here we are. Vox is paying someone for this. It keeps going. The amount of time. I guess respect if you are really into TV shows for finding a way to monetize just sitting around and doing nothing. I can't remember what it says. Let's see. It says, I limited myself to looking at 30 TV shows, 10 each from the 90s, 2000s, and 2000s. So this person watched 30 TV shows and got paid for it and made all these graphs. What is going on here? All the same, it does seem as though a lot more characters in the 2010s have decided to keep their homes spotless than did the characters in the 1990s. It looks like the set... Oh my god. So what happened? I love how this picture right here is considered just a house that's way, way too clean. Like, this is just a ridiculous level of clean. So here's my theory, Vox. What you're looking at here is a normal home. This is a completely, after you clean, this is what it looks like. The fact that you have writers who look at this and go, this is completely unrealistic, I think says more about the state of adults in the United States than it does about the TV shows. That first, you're trying to figure out why sets got cleaner over time. Maybe you just got dirtier. Oh, man. How do I get this job? I sit around and watch TV and movies all the time. Believe me, that's all that's worth going into on this, but I do want to show you. It keeps going. So here's the conclusion. Look how long this is. Keeps going. Look at this. Will you support Vox's journalism? No, I will not. I mean, that's like, what? Good Lord, like 20 paragraphs? I mean, the sets aren't crazy clean. You're just a filthy animal. You could have just written that down. All right, guys, now on to the title of this stream, and what we're about to get into may be disturbing because I came up with the idea for this because I was watching, or the theme for this stream, I was watching the Republican Summit today, that had all the candidates except Trump, and they were talking with Tucker Carlson, and everyone seemed to... First of all, hilarious. Go watch Tucker Carlson just destroy Tim Scott, Asa Hutchinson, Mike Pence. God, it was hilarious. But one thing that I noticed is everyone's acting as if this is the election where we have... This is our last chance, or else we're going to slip into some kind of crazy dystopian future. My brothers and sisters in Christ, we are there already. There might be, oh gosh, if we don't do something, we're on the verge of possibly entering a dystopian future. Friends, have you looked outside lately? So, as we go down this road and show that this isn't some far off movie world that we're talking about, or something from a book that's saying, well, if we don't stop it now, by 2035 we will just be off the rails. No, we're here. And before we jump into this, there's a few things I need to do. One, we're gonna have to change the music, because this jovial music is not I don't think is the way to go about this. There we go. You have to just embrace it, you guys. We are now living in a dystopia. There's nothing you can do about it. So here we go. This is absolutely beyond ridiculous. And I need some context, but it seemed like a good idea to show this as the first thing that we're going to go over here. Sorry, I had to make sure I had it pulled up. All right, watch this, watch this.
Please look at camera for entry.
And if you stand on the shoes and look into the spheroid, if you get the green light, that'll open the door for you.
Oh, stand on the shoes?
So, yeah, this is apparently in Portland at some some kind of convenience store or gas station, like a Walgreens or type of thing. But the crime has gotten so out of control. You now have to look into a camera for facial recognition, and the camera is tapped into some kind of database that the store has of all of the criminals who keep stealing from them. So you literally cannot enter the store until it scans you and sees that you're not in their criminal database. That seemed like a good place to start, because if that doesn't seem dystopian to you, I don't know what is. But sadly, this is just where we're starting. We have a long dark road ahead of us this Friday. I'm not exactly sure what is going on here, but again, if this isn't dystopian, son of a bitch, I don't know what is. It's like she's mocking me with her existence. This is on the male to female subreddit. And man, this is a wild ride. Buckle up. There's this cis woman in 2 of my classes who every time I look at, I feel jealous of. I try to avoid her and never look at her, but that's kind of impossible. She's beautiful and almost everything I want to be, minus being sapphic. I don't know. It's something to do with this person's made-up sexuality, as far as I can tell. At least I think. Every time I see her, I go, why can't I just be her, but, again, sapphic instead of straight? So yeah, it's some kind of sexuality. She's so beautiful, and I bet she doesn't have these thoughts of extreme jealousy. No, I'm pretty sure she does not have those thoughts. I would give so much to be her, but with a different sexuality. He just keeps saying it. I've had this jealousy ever since she moved to our school 2 years ago. She even has the shortened version of my name. Like, I swear, if it's as though Like, I swear if it's as though she was designed in a laboratory to mock my feudal existence. A woman just being alive is mocking this man's very existence, and he's almost self-aware enough to know that she probably doesn't walk around feeling this jealous of other people. What a bizarre dystopian timeline we find ourselves in. Men walk around pretending to be women and then basically having the urge to want to kill them as well because they're actually women. I don't know. So why not really? I've never heard of this word. Why not just use the word lesbian? Thank you, Catherine, in the chat for explaining what sapphic is. Everything these people do, they got to find words that most people don't use anymore or make up totally new ones because it makes them feel more special, I guess. So we've had the facial recognition to enter a store because there's so much crime and the government won't do anything about it that you have to, a computer has to scan your face and then they unlock the doors for you. We have a man who wants to be a woman so badly that he can't stand to even look at real women because it makes him feel that his existence is futile, which, brother, it might be. Also, if you smoke in the wrong place in New York City, the city where you could do anything. You could just do a ton of fentanyl and then run and shove a woman onto the subway tracks and kill her. And they'll be like, well, he's experiencing homelessness and he has an addiction and he's black and we just leave him alone, you know? Hey. But if you smoke in the wrong place, look how many agents of the state are sent out. It's phenomenal. Sometimes you ask yourself, like, maybe they just don't have enough police officers. Well, I'm not sure that's true after watching this.
Why are you arresting him? Why are you putting cuffs on him?
Do you see this?
Why are you putting cuffs on this man?
We asked him for his identification. He did not provide it.
Why does he need to?
He's violating a rule of the
And you hear that? And these cops, man, the people, like the woman who's asking, like, why are you doing this? The cop is just being an ass. What are you, his lawyer? You know, like being like, shut up. And let's check this out. So what this guy is doing is smoking on the sidewalk. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 police officers.
Why does he need to?
He's violating a rule of the Union Square Park.
He's not in the park.
He's inside the park. What's going on?
He's not inside the park.
You can't smoke
Inside the park, but he's outside the park.
This is the park, all right? And he's not being arrested. He did not want to give his identification, so he's going to be brought to the precinct where he's going to show his identification. He's going to get a summons.
I'm out here. The lady even said herself, I'm outside the park.
He's outside the park.
They're also saying that it's not exactly because he's smoking in the wrong place, even though that's what started this whole thing, was that he was smoking in the wrong place on the sidewalk next to a park where you're apparently not allowed to smoke. But it's really because they asked him for his ID and he refused to show the ID. If this isn't a dystopian police state, I'm not exactly sure what is.
Officials of Union Square Park, they told us it's current to current. Thank you, guys.
You didn't treat me like no gentleman. You're not even treating me like a human being right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, you want to be ashamed of yourself. I tried to have a civil conversation. You didn't try to have a civil conversation. Fuck you. Like that.
Oh, nine police officers.
Just like that. Yeah, just like that. Because you disrespected me when you approached me.
Why are you cuffing him? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He didn't want to give his identification. So if you don't want to give your identification, we're going to cuff you, bring you back to the prison.
Yeah,
Because when we ask for your identification, you have to give us your identification.
Why?
Because it's a law. You're committing a violation. I asked you for your identification. Not in the park. It's on everyone.
So one of the police officers says that, well, the park is defined as from curb to curb. So standing on the sidewalk counts as being in the park. Ridiculous semantics. Would anyone like to guess if these police officers are aware of the kind of crime that is happening in New York every day, all the time? Of course they're aware of it. They're just told not to give a shit about it. But this guy in a suit, standing on a sidewalk, smoking a cigarette, we need 9 police officers. If that's not a dystopian police state, again, I'm not really sure what is. Now, moving on to another beautiful and brave trans person. So this first trans person was jealous that women existed and it made his life feel futile or something. This person, this man takes it a little bit farther, actually, which is is saying something.
The first.
Sorry, it's not loading. There we go. Okay. Take it away, you beautiful and brave son of a bitch.
The first trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion. I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor, place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes with as many trans women as it takes, and let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
Oh no, yeah, guys, we gotta vote harder because we might end up in a dystopian future. There's men walking around in the world right now, and through the power of science, believe that they're going to be able to rip the uterus out of a woman, implant it into themselves so that they can get pregnant and then kill the child. Just to stick it to the transphobes or something. The reason is really irrelevant. Oh no, yeah, we better vote harder now because we might end up in 10 years in a dystopian future. Oh, could you imagine if we somehow ended up in a place where men were trying to harvest organs so they could kill their own babies? Wow, that would just be crazy if we lived in that world. I'm sorry, guys, this is not a very uplifting episode. But you should have known. The background changed, the music changed. This is what's going on. I fear that I may have put the absolute worst right up at the front, which is going to make everything else seem not so bad. But onward we go. Could you imagine if we lived in a dystopian world where for some reason they wanted you to eat bugs? That would just be crazy. Surely that wouldn't happen. Or if you vote hard enough now, it might not happen, guys. Oh, wait. Delicious. It looks great. London's first edible insect farm. And I'm telling you, anyone who says they can tell a difference between this and a regular burger, they're lying. They're ultra MAGA extremists that are fascists. This is a burger. Shut up and eat the purple, slimy bugs. No, yeah, you're right, guys. We need to vote extra hard so that we can prevent this from happening. And I don't say this to say that, to discourage people from voting. What I'm saying is you might need to put a different level of urgency on the problem. This whole thing that there's an existential threat out there that maybe something bad could happen in the next 15 to 20 years is not cutting it. You best start believing in dystopian futures, my friend, because you are in one. And this clip's a little bit old, but I think the other one was a little bit old too. This is a fantastic example. Again, if this doesn't tell you that we are living in a dystopian, authoritarian hellscape, I don't know what will.
So I would call, probably the person I called most was the Secretary of Health and Human Services in Massachusetts. She worked for a Republican governor just to, but you know, when she was like, are you going to let them have professional football? And I was like, nope. And she's like, okay, neither are we. You know, it was like conversations like that. So, or I'd be like, so when are you going to think about lightening up a mess? They're like, next Monday. I'm like, okay, next Monday. So I would call.
Yeah. Apparently we were following the science, and the way that we followed the science was a bunch of insane women who were supposedly health directors, governors across the country, just saying, should we let these stupid plebs, these stupid, ugly peasants, should we allow them to even watch football right now? How scientific. We were doing the right thing. Guys, the dystopian future hit us in 2019. I don't know where you've been. It was building long before that, but it really hit, well, I guess early 2020. Whatever you want to, when COVID started. These people don't give a shit about you. All they care about is their power. I mean, can you imagine? You're supposed to be the health director. This affects people's lives, and people could lose their jobs, livelihoods, not to mention all the people who ended up committing suicide because they were locked in their homes. And that's how flippant you are about it. You are in the dystopian future, my friend. Yeah, this is a very happy stream. Sorry, you guys. And if you're saying to yourself, hey, Swamp, we're making progress, you know? You can't do it all at once. I agree. That's not the point of what I'm trying to say here. Trying to say it's time to speak about this a little bit more clearly. This is still happening in July 2023. This woman says, I'm not joking about looking hot and wearing an N95 everywhere as praxis, by the way. Girls and gays especially, influencing works, blah, blah, blah. This is a woman posting about how she still wears a mask and it makes her hot. And guess what? A lot of people agree. Okay, sorry, this was from June. My bad. June. Either way, 2023. May. This is 2023, you guys. Look how many people. They're still doing this. Good Lord. Look at this and tell me we're not living in the dystopian future that people in the 40s and 50s were writing about. We are there, my friends. We have arrived. And perhaps one of the biggest examples that we're living in a horrible dystopian future. A film about anti-child sex trafficking is largely panned by the media, mainstream, as being just god-awful, stupid garbage. Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. They can't even just say this is a bad movie. They have to specifically insult anyone who even would consider going to see it. The QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. When someone speaks out against child sex trafficking, and the response from the establishment is to relentlessly attack that person and anybody who would even consider seeing the film, you guessed it. You are living in a dystopian future. A hellscape beyond anything you ever thought possible. Based on a true story I heard from someone across the theater, the familiar words had appeared on screen and an elderly man had taken it upon himself to read them aloud to the rest of a sizable audience seated for a matinee showing of an anti-child sex trafficking thriller, Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel. First of all, do you believe this, woman? I'm assuming this is, I didn't look who wrote this. Oh, Miles Klee? That's a man who probably wants to be a woman. Do you believe that there was an elderly boomer who just had to yell in the theater at the beginning based on a true story? I mean, what a ridiculous thing to say. I'm not buying this. For the seasoned moviegoer, this phrase is a joke. We know that cinema will stretch almost any truth to the breaking point, and the rank insincerity of such a pronouncement is the foundation of the prankish opening titles of Fargo. But this crowd, I can tell, would view the events depicted over the next 2+ hours as entirely literal. And look how long this article is. So Tim Ballard, if you didn't know, is the guy who this is based off of. It says, Ballard himself has dabbled in Q-adjacent conspiracy theories such as the Wayfair trafficking hoax, while his organization has far-right affinities and a long record of distorting its botched quote-unquote raids while relying on bizarre tactics like asking... This is so stupid. Oh... asking psychics where to find victims for rescue. Ballard, Caviezel, and others of their ilk have primed the public to accept Sound of Freedom as a documentary rather than delusion by fomenting moral panic for years over the grossly exaggerated quote-unquote epidemic of child sex trafficking, which much of it's funneling people into conspiracist rabbit holes and QAnon communities. In short, I was at the movies with people who were there to see their worst fears confirmed. For the love of God. It's worth noting that these same people, pre-COVID, were writing articles about Tim Ballard, praising him and his team for what they were doing. Even CNN and MSNBC ran full stories, like full segments on the amazing work. And the specific story that this is based off, the specific instance that this movie is based off of, because there's tons of them, but this is just one instance. CNN and MSNBC ran whole pieces, like 30, 40-minute long segments about it, talking about how amazing this was. And something has changed. Some might say we're now living in a dystopian future. If you, I don't know if you've picked up yet on the theme here. And of course, this would not be a dystopian hellscape if we didn't just have... I mean, of course, we already addressed the... Uh-oh. Of course, we already addressed the transgender stuff, which, of course, is mental illness. But it wouldn't be any kind of dystopian future if there wasn't all kinds of mental illness running rampant all over the place. Here is a totally stable young woman explaining to us that she has time blindness. Time blindness.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. Provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement. So...
Well, guys, I don't know how many more times I can say it. If you have people of the youngest generation in your society running around saying stuff like this, you are in the dystopian future. Oh, man. I wish I had something to play to lighten the mood. I was like, I think it might be time to move on to the fun segment to get you ready for the weekend. And I just realized I didn't pick anything. Feeling good? Has this made you feel good? Well. I guess it's just all over, you guys. Yep, got nothing. Wow. I gotta find some. I don't want to just end this on the most depressing note of all time. Here we go. Let's switch back. Kill the music. Goodbye, Dystopia. There we go. All right, feeling better. Feeling better. Damn, I forgot. I forgot to pick something. Okay, well, here you go. This kind of counts. To get you ready for the weekend. The everyone's favorite segment, climate activists getting exactly what they deserve. It's everyone's favorite genre of content on the internet. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's been these climate activists that have been gluing and cementing themselves to things, to the ground, and they've... All right. Thank you, Catherine. Always coming in with the super chat. Appreciate it. And I'm sorry I ruined everyone's weekend before it started by giving the doom and gloom stream of my lifetime. But here we go.
My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go.
So yeah, these climate activists have been cementing and gluing their hands to things, and they've had to have, emergency workers come out to, help them because they can't help themselves in any way, shape, or form. And this one's just fantastic. Look at this guy when he's realizing what he's done to himself. They're trying to get their hand. Look at this guy. He's so pissed. Oh, he's like, son of a bitch. He's so angry. I mean, look at these guys. They're like, man, can't you do something about this? And I don't have the sound on because there's like some stupid music and they're speaking French or something. Well, that part's worth it. Fantastic. This is like the time that they went into that car dealership and they did the same thing where they like glued themselves to the floor or whatever. And then they got pissed when they just said, okay. You're like, well, wait, I have to go to the bathroom. And they're like, well, you should have thought of that before you glued yourself to the floor, you idiot. And they're like, you guys are mistreating us by not giving me a place to poop. You came into my establishment and glued yourself on the floor. What the hell do you want me to do about it? I can't even move you. You're stuck here. But that's why you love to see him do this. God, look at this guy. He's hilarious. And he sounds like Super Mario. Right. Well. Man, I can't believe I forgot to actually pull up some good news. That shows you where my head's at, I guess. Well, I guess this could be considered good news. Ohio plastic surgeon who live streamed parts of procedures on TikTok loses her license. You know what I always say? Have TikTok get fired. I will go over this story at some point because it is pretty darn funny. For some reason, filming herself doing surgeries resulted in several botched surgeries, which, I mean, how could that have happened? That's just crazy. Oh, and in case you guys missed the stream last night, during the stream we discovered the coolest shirt of all time. The Ultra MAGA Hawaiian shirt. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to buy this shirt. It's actually reasonably priced. I was expecting it to be like $70, $80 or something. But I don't know what the shipping is. That's where they get you. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a good weekend. Don't get too bogged down with the dystopian future that we're living in. Man, that whole segment just came off way darker and more depressing than I had intended. I guess I should have had some based grandpa ready or something to play afterwards. Let's see if there is. Actually, that might be a good way to do it. Is there any new based grandpa? Let's see.
Southeast corner of pasture number 5, and I got a big old...
Oh, I forgot. Gotta play his stinger. Yeah, there we go. Based grandpa, get us ready for the weekend. After all the ridiculous dystopian nonsense.
old poplar tree down across the fence. Now, you know, I could have drove out here in the Jeep and brought the chainsaw. But instead I walked, and I'm gonna cut this tree with an axe just like I have for most of my life. Because it's the challenges in life. It's the adversities that teach us who we truly are. If you don't challenge yourself every day, you'll never know your true limitations. You'll never know your inner strengths. And you'll never face your weaknesses. I grew up in an age of men where we all carried an axe like this. We traveled the backcountry, living a life of adventure, hardcore adventure. We gauged each other on our actions, how hard we worked, and if we lived by the creed, those guidelines that we all live by. Honesty, integrity, loyalty to yourself first and foremost, and then those all around you. I'm 56 years old, and I challenge myself like this every day. So should you, boys, because the way I see it, the age of men is gone. Men have retreated into a world of soft couches, flip-flops, and video games. Are you the role model you want to be? I sure hope you are, because I am. Stay the course. Become the man you want to be.
Damn. That's how you get ready for the weekend, guys. Thank you once again, Bass Grandpa. All right, guys, I hope you had a good time. Make sure you like the stream. Check out the merch. Hit up the PayPal if you want to help buy me some ammo. And I'll see you guys next time.